So, breaking news in the incel internet world, the live streamer Clavicular just overdosed live on camera. So let's talk about what he overdosed on, because it's kind of confusing. He did not overdose on some ordinary shit. So to start out, if you don't know who Clavicular is, huge live streamer. Basically, he's famous for similar things for Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, those kind of like guys who are in the space of just speaking to young men, incels, who are just, angry that they're not getting laid, basically. He's very young, like very early 20s, and his whole thing that makes him different is that he's all about looks maxing. Basically doing whatever it takes to become the most beautiful version of yourself. Smashing your facial bones to stimulate bone growth, and like he does some absolutely insane stuff. But he's also famous for being pretty open about his recreational drug use, more specifically meth.
You do meth?
Yeah, I haven't done meth in 2 weeks, but I do meth, yeah.
He hit him with the classic, I haven't done it in 2 weeks though, to kind of show like, see, I'm not addicted, which I get. I've definitely hit people with that before. I think I've seen him do many interviews and many people ask him about his meth use. And I think in those interviews and just generally, when people hear that someone does meth, they assume that someone is addicted to meth. They don't think that people can casually do it or do it in a regulated way, which is not true. Actually, many people casually do meth, and literally, like, if you don't believe me, that's fine. Many of your grandmas might have been prescribed it in the 40s and 50s for weight loss, for narcolepsy. Meth was very, very common throughout the entire world. Japan, Germany, America, as a prescribed medication for much of the mid-1900s. So yeah, you can casually do meth. I don't think that's what he's doing. I think he might have a little bit of a problem. But yes, you can casually do meth. But all that aside, let's look at some reasons for why he says he does meth.
It's meth. Why do you do meth?
Well, because meth is very similar in terms of its makeup to something like Adderall, but it's got a little bit better psychoactive benefits, meaning the Adderall has levoamphetamine in it, which is a physical stimulant. And that's not necessarily ideal for a lot of the things that I'm doing, maybe task-oriented stuff, sitting on a computer. So why do I need a physical stimulant? And meth also has a longer half-life.
Okay, the kid kind of knows ball, but also I don't totally know what the fuck he's talking about. So first off, he is kind of right. Meth is very similar to stuff that's in Adderall. Now, Adderall actually contains two active ingredients. It's two types of amphetamine. There's levoamphetamine, like he said, and then dextroamphetamine. And its dextroamphetamine is 75%, levoamphetamine is only 25%. Now, if you look at the molecule of, let's say, dextroamphetamine and then compare it to methamphetamine, you can see that they're very, very similar. That's because they're both amphetamines. They're both in the same class of drugs called phenethylamines, which is a very big class of drugs, though. So don't make the mistake of just because a chemical looks similar to another means that it's the same, right? Phenethylamines also includes mescaline, which is the psychoactive ingredient in San Pedro cactus, which is like a super, super psychedelic drug. But I do kind of agree with him. Adderall is very similar to meth in a lot of ways. In fact, like I've said many times in my videos, I've accidentally eaten meth because a lot of the street Adderall you buy is just meth pressed in there. And you don't always know. The only way that you can really tell is, like he said, the duration of time.
And what meth actually is dextromethamphetamine. What Adderall is, 75% of it at least, is dexamphetamine. These are very similar, just the addition of the methyl group, making it longer acting. And the reason I also like it to be longer acting for a looks maxing context is stimulants cause appetite suppressants.
Yet again, kid knows ball. Yes, meth is an appetite suppressant, similar to pretty much all stimulants. Meth, Adderall, Vyvanse, Ritalin, all of those ADHD medications will make it hard to eat. Similar with cocaine or chat from Ethiopia, or really, I can't really think of any stimulant that's not an appetite suppressant. And as he's a looks maxer, he's always trying to be as skinny and perfect. He's really into starving himself, and meth will definitely help you. He actually has a clip when he first started talking about this.
So I actually do have a new lean maxing strategy that's quite controversial. And I'm not exactly going to advise that you do this. Basically, what I did was for 3 days, I spammed a combination of Adderall and methamphetamine for appetite suppression, and I literally went on a 3-day fast and stayed awake the entire time, and I lost 5 pounds. So
3-day fest. That's called a bender. Oh, God. Drug talk aside, let's talk about a bit of the psychology of him, and then we're going to go into the overdose. So, if you haven't noticed, dude's autistic. I don't know if he actually has a formal diagnosis, but he's pretty open about this, and before he even said anything, you can watch his videos and be like, yeah, okay, you have autism. And so I think that naturally comes with a lot of things. And one of those things, as far as relating to meth use, is a social awkwardness. He talks about being really socially awkward. And as we know, with a lot of stimulants, a side effect is that they can give you social confidence. You can feel like you're on top of the world. If you feel awkward and kind of like weird, then meth or Adderall or whatever can make you not second guess yourself. And he's talked about this, where he can sometimes use it as a crutch to socialize with girls or with people or to live stream. And honestly, this is where Clavvicular is a little bit interesting for me, because similar to damn near everyone in his space of that internet, he says fucking racist stuff to be edgy. He says sexist stuff. He's just an edgelord, typical to all those guys in that space. But he's also autistic, and I can also just see a lot of myself in him. I can see that he's trying and just trying to figure out how to operate in this confusing world. Yeah, like I can see his humanity. You know, Nick Fuentes and like Andrew Tate, like I don't really see their humanity. I'm just like, you guys suck, just generally. This kid, I'm like hoping that he turns it around, and I think he might. And honestly, I think this overdose is probably the first step in the right direction. So let's talk about this overdose.
Holy what? How love you? I'm gone. Holy B. Dude. When did you last take blue? You want natty? You want natty? Holy shit, dude, I'm trying my best, but I'm destroyed right now.
I've been there. So these are live streams from the night that he actually overdosed, and he looks pretty fucked up. And it was actually kind of hard for me to figure out what the actual drug was, because the term that I found on Reddit was that he took a penta stack, which is some fucking stupid shit that his friends made up. I don't know. Now, what is a penta stack?
Right now, pentastack is Adderall, DXM, ketamine, BDO.
No, not
prodrug of
BDO.
GHB,
It's 5-hour energy.
and pre-gab. Thank you.
It's such an insane mixture. Wow. And that's not true. It was not 5-hour energy. If it was 5-hour energy, he wouldn't have taken that little shot glass of the cap. That was BDO. We'll explain. First ingredient is Adderall, which is levoamphetamine and dextroamphetamine. It's just a stimulant. It's going to make them feel social, outgoing, and have a good time, right? Give them energy. Hold on. Oh, my food just came. Oh, so the second ingredient is DXM. When I've seen other people cover this story, they describe DXM as cough syrup, which, like, yes, but no. I think a lot of them think that DXM is like rapper lean, like cough syrup. That's a completely different thing. Lean is two chemicals. It's promethazine and codeine. Codeine is an opioid. Think of similar to like oxycodone or fentanyl. Codeine is just a really shitty one. And promethazine is what we call a first-generation antihistamine. Basically, it's allergy medication that makes you really sleepy. When you combine those things together, you just feel really relaxed, you feel really sleepy, you feel really warm, and just like, ugh. DXM, dextromethorphan, is Robitussin or NyQuil. It's a completely other thing. People call it robo-tripping, and it's, people will, especially kids, people will do a higher dose than you're actually supposed to, and it causes this kind of weird mental state. Actually, of all the drugs, I've done all of what they described except for DXM. I've never tried DXM. To me, it sounds very disassociative, very trippy, but if you have experienced DXM, please comment below, help people understand it. But it's a bit of a weird one, and many people suffer from an addiction from it nowadays. The next drug in the pentastack is ketamine, which the previous two drugs they probably ate. They probably ate the pill or they drank the DXM. Ketamine they probably snorted. What ketamine is what we call a general dissociative anesthetic. Big ol' lots of words that basically mean it disassociates you from your body. We use it in surgery often. It's often seen as the horse medicine, but it's very commonly given to humans in surgery. It's very useful because it kind of can make your body feel numb, but it really does, like, to go on like a deeper level, it feels like the sense of you that you are gets separated from your body, and you can kind of almost like, it's weird. Like I've said this before, someone will touch your arm and you'll feel like it's not your own arm. It's very interesting. It's also very useful in treating treatment-resistant depression. People who tried SSRIs and didn't work for them, ketamine can often help some people. And so if you're following this penta stack, with these three, they are probably feeling energized because of the Adderall. Their veins are feeling more constricted. They're feeling more like kind of amped up. But then they're also, with these last two, DXM and ketamine, feeling disassociated from their body, a little bit weird. You can feel like you can't control your body at high doses of these things. I've definitely done that. High dose of ketamine is called a K-hole. It's a trippy experience. Okay, what's the next drug?
BDO.
No, not BDO. It's 5 Hour Energy.
BDO. Okay, so he says, no, it's not BDO. It's 5 Hour Energy. That's a joke. That's the 5 Hour Energy has been emptied out, and they've put a chemical inside called 1,4-BDO or 1,4-butanediol. I think that's how you say it. I think. The reason that I know that that's 1,4-BDO inside and not 5 Hour Energy is because notice at the end, he takes the cap of it and takes a shot. You don't do that with 5 Hour Energy, but 1,4-BDO, it's a liquid that is so potent that you only need that small little cap to get a dose. It's pretty strong. Now, 1,4-BDO is, it's one of those substances that I don't really like to talk about a lot because it's one of those drugs in the legal gray market, and I just don't want to, spread the word. 1,4-BDO is what we call a prodrug. So when you drink 1,4-BDO, it's this really disgusting liquid. It's very, very, very bitter and very like viscous, kind of like almost like oil. When 1,4-BDO is in your body, it actually gets converted to another drug that you might be familiar with, which is G or GHB, or the date rape drug. The fact that it's called the date rape drug is a little unfair. That was just like some shit that happened when we were kids that they started calling it that. GHB is a very enjoyable substance for a lot of people. It's kind of like alcohol, but if you made alcohol a lot more like sexual and like your body feels just really... The first time I did it, I described it as almost feeling like my entire body was having an orgasm for like an extended period of time. It's like, I think from my memory, lasts around like 1 to 2 hours. And 1,4-BDO, like I said, is in the gray market. So it's used to make, I think, plastics. And so it kind of exists in this thing where you can buy the chemical 1,4-BDO, and if it's not for getting high, then it's legal, right? It's a weird chemical. It's this liquid that also, at like almost room temperature, it's its freezing point. So if it's like, cold in your house, you'll literally see this and it'll be like a literal block of ice of this chemical. It's really interesting. It like you can warm it up with your body heat. It's weird stuff. But it's GHB. And the thing with GHB and BDO that makes it so dangerous is that people don't bring around syringes and measuring flasks and all that when they're out partying. And so you often eyeball it, and it's a liquid. And so you can often, not even realizing it, take too much. And it does not take a lot to take too much. The first time I did BDO, I did nothing else. I just did BDO, and I essentially overdosed. Like, I did exactly what you see Clav do. It's so easy to take too much because of its liquid nature and just how you take it, that you just keep kind of dosing, because that's kind of a lot of people do it. And if you just overtime it, you just do a little bit too much at the wrong time, it is a horrendous experience. I didn't black out, surprisingly, but I remember like feeling so nauseated. I lost the ability to walk. My cousins had to carry me out of the bar. It was super embarrassing. And I vomited indescribably. I could not stop vomiting. It was horrendous. Now, the final drug is Pregab or pregabalin, which is... How do I describe pregabalin? It's like a nerve medication. Like people with fibromyalgia or just general nerve pain, it's often a medication given to them. Similar to also like gabapentin, which is often used in addiction centers to help people get off of certain drugs. It's not great for that, but people do it. Pregabalin is a pill, okay? I actually have a lot of experience with pregabalin. When I was in Peru, I really don't like to drink alcohol, and I did a lot of pregabalin when I went to the club because I preferred pregabalin to alcohol. Now, the thing about pregabalin is, how do I describe it? One, really late onset. So you take it, and it can take, if memory serves, it's like 2 hours to hit. It's a long time, which how that makes it dangerous, especially in Clav's situation, is that if you have all these other drugs that you're taking at the same time, if you take a pill and you have to wait 2 hours, you can often forget that you've taken it, or maybe you think, I didn't take enough, because it just takes so long. And then when it hits, let me tell you, when pregabalin hits, it hits, right? Especially, depending on the dose you're taking. If you're taking 150 milligrams upwards, it's a strong experience. And what you feel, at least from my experience, is your body feels very loose, very loose. I become obsessed with dancing. I love dancing on pregab. It's like a really you're just kind of, I don't care, and free, and your body just feels really relaxing. It also has side effects of eating a lot. I get indescribably hungry with pregabalin, so hungry. It's like more than weed. I'm just eating. So that's a penta stack. Wow, that is an insane mixture. That is so many things. Wow. So all of those things combined, you have the kind of energy that you get from Adderall. Then you have this weird headspace that you're given with DXM and ketamine, and kind of this body disassociation where you kind of feel numb. BDO that's making you kind of sedated, kind of drunk, and maybe a little horny, which Adderall also makes you horny, but also maybe some nausea. And then on the last thing, you have pregabalin, which also can cause nausea, but also you're just feeling really, really loose, completely right? Yeah, that is an insane night. That is a lot. Just, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. What happened with Clav after that is that he passed out on camera. They turned the camera away when he passed out, and they took him to the hospital, and he messed up his pretty little face. Oh, so sad. Yeah, I mean, I was young and dumb. Sometimes I still am, so I get it. No judgment. Let's hope he just stops being an asshole and maybe be a little bit more careful. Okay, bye-bye.